Hello, hello. Have we finally done this? Are we back? Is the sound good, people? Flipping heck, the YouTube life. The YouTube life, people. The YouTube. Can you hear me, guys? I think we're good now. All right. All right, guys. I hope everybody is good. Sorry for that. I apologize sincerely for for the sound, man. Listen, you think you got everything patterned, you think you got everything sorted, and then you turn the thing on, and then something's not working, and you got to try to figure it out. So big up the chat, big up everyone for your patience, for your flipping patience today. Thank you. Um, Big up the chat, big up Wendell, TK, of course Turkish. I see Luke Chapman in the chat, Northampton Town fan as well. I hope you guys are good. Like I said, thank you for your patience. The sound is back. So let's run through the show. We are 2 days away from a game against Sunderland, which many are saying is a must-win game. The pressure is ramping up. The heat is ramping up. And we have a lot of things to go through as we usually do. We didn't have a show on Wednesday. I don't think every day we will have a news show because, quite frankly, every day there isn't news every day. There isn't a big amount of news every day, but today there is news. So tomorrow we will have, as usual, our match preview show. We talk about the formation, lineups, Sunderland, and all of these things. So today is a bit of a preview before the preview. So big up everybody. I hope you guys are doing well. Today we're going to talk about Mbeumo. We're going to talk about Mbeumo because Brian Mbeumo has spoken. He has come out with some quotes protecting the manager somewhat, you could argue, as well. We also have Amrim. Amrim has spoken about his season goals. You might be interested in that. There's also news that Manchester United will start having some midweek games in Saudi Arabia to generate fans, potentially. So Laurie Whitwell, the journalist, as you guys know, has weighed in on that. You guys let me know what you feel, how you feel about Man United potentially having midweek games in Saudi Arabia. Paul Scholes has spoken about Amrim. We're going to put those quotes up and talk about them if you guys want to. Is Cesc Fabregas, people, on the shortlist for the next manager? We've spoken about Aviola, spoken about Glasner, and even Xavi. There's now rumours that Cesc Fabregas might be considered as well. There's news, guys, that JJ Gabriel is going to be already, this kid, he's only about 14. There's rumours that he's going to be the new face of Nike football, or at least one of the brands anyway. So we can talk about that. In terms of players, guys, we have Ahmad and Malacia in training. So it looks as if the manager can now choose Malacia. Malacia is back. He is in contention to be selected. And that really makes me ask the question, why was he being forced out the club anyway, if he could easily be considered in one of the wing-back positions? We're going to talk about that as well. There's also news that United want Baleba with or without Amrim. I don't know if that is actually news, but it seems to me, or at least the news coming out, or the rumours coming out, is Baleba is a club signing. Just like Cunha, just like Mbeumo, we are recruiting for the manager, yes, but Baleba apparently will be coming in with or without Amrim. So we have a few things to discuss, a few things to get through today. We'll whiz through them as we usually do as a community together. Give me your thoughts, give me your opinions, give me your ideas as you usually do. So big up everybody in the chat. Like I said before, thank you for your patience. Wendell, Luke, big up Luke. He's not a Man United fan, but he is here anyway. And big up TK in the chat. Let's get straight into it then. Brian Mbeumo has spoken. And listen, I said that Brian Mbeumo did not have a good game against Brentford. In fact, Cunha probably had a worse game. But either way, neither of these two Cunha or Mbeumo were really that good against Brentford. They weren't. They weren't. And listen, Brian Mbeumo might as well be playing against us. He was playing for Brentford. His passing percentage accuracy was very low. He didn't do much in that game at all. But then you could argue, where was the midfield? We didn't get the ball enough to him in dangerous positions for him to really do anything. But he's come out and he has said that it is exciting to play with Cunha and Sesko, because we're learning to play with new teammates and it's always a challenge. But that's what we love as footballers. He's gone on to say, Brian Mbeumo, that it will get better. We haven't played together much, so there are certain things we will improve. And that's reported from Sky. And I like this comment. The reason why I like this is because I feel like, yes, a lot of us are frustrated. We are angry with the way that we're playing. And like I said, the game against Brentford was a terrible game for the front three. Really, really terrible. But it's good to remind ourselves that they need time. They need time. How much time you're going to give them, how much time you're going to give them, that's up to you. Everyone has their personal thresholds. You might say, listen, they've been playing together for 3 or 4 games and I don't see anything. That's enough time. Blame it on the manager. And you might think, do you know what? 3 games. How many times has this front three played together? I think against Brentford was the first time that Cunha, Mbeumo and Sesko started together. They need time. They need time to gel, need time to understand each other. So I like that. It brings into perspectives certain things, you know. It humanizes the players, and it's good for us to understand that as frustrated as we are, these guys need time to gel. So that's that. He's gone on to say, guys, that it's a bit different, but I've already played in this system. So this is him talking about the formation, talking about the system. And I feel like, let's hear what the new players, because we talk about the new players being infested, corrupted by whatever is going on at Man United Football Club. So, you know, let's hear what the new players are saying about the system. We talk about the system and we blame the system. So Mbeumo's come out and he says, listen, it's a bit different, but I've already played in this system. It's our responsibility to be better. I do not think it's the system. It's us who need to improve. That is very, very telling. Very, very important. He is saying, listen, I played in the similar system. Yeah. The problem isn't really the system. The problem is we need to improve. We need to do better. He is backing the manager here, and he is fully pointing the fingers at the players, at himself. He wants to shift the accountability towards the players, and that's what he's done in this sentence. Whether you believe him, whether you think, you know, he's saying this because he's been told to say it, or whether he actually believes it himself, I don't know what the chat is really thinking when they see something like this, when they see Brian Mbeumo come out and essentially say, listen, the system isn't the problem, the manager isn't the problem. We need to improve, the players need to improve. So guys, let me know what you think about that, because I feel like that's it's very insightful. It's very insightful that Brian Mbeumo is saying that. Does that match with what you guys are saying? Does that match with your assessment of the situation? Or do you think Brian Mbeumo is completely off here? Because with most things, especially in this channel, I talk about critical thinking, I talk about nuance all the time. With most things, it's usually a bit of both. I think on this channel, in this community, we've highlighted the manager's flaws a lot. I have. But just because I've highlighted the manager's flaws, it does not mean I do not think the players need to improve. Once again, I've said it many times, the issue at Manchester United is multifaceted. There are multiple variables in play here with regards to what is wrong, and not just one thing. The whole one thing is wrong is politics. It's all look over there, but fix this one thing and everything will be rosy. I don't think anyone on the channel or in his community believes that just changing the manager will solve everything. Just changing the players will solve everything. I think, and I'll speak on behalf of everyone, including you, I think we all agree that the issues here are multifaceted. But Brian Mbeumo is putting pressure on the players here, rightfully or wrongly. Let me know your thoughts, people. Let me know your thoughts. Let's continue. He goes on to say, with regards to the Brentford-Manchester United game, obviously, I'm disappointed with the result. I had a warm welcome back from the fans, and I will never forget that. I think everyone in the team needs to take responsibility. When you play in a club this big, everyone needs to know what to do. As a team, we need to do better. Cool. Cool, Brian. Cool. Be careful, Brian. Be careful, though, Brian Mbeumo. Because Onana came to the club. You and Onana are from Cameroon, right? You're from the same place. And when Onana came here, he tried to take on a lot of the responsibilities. I remember Onana saying, we, the players, we got to take responsibility. It's not the manager. And Onana was standing up, yeah, saying all these things. And we said it was a good thing. It was a breath of fresh air. But then he got real. He got real. And then we started saying, listen, you are actually the problem, Onana. I'm just saying, guys, as much as Brian Mbeumo could be correct here, he could be correct here. We know he has to be careful when he's inviting scrutiny on the players. He has to be careful when he's telling everybody in these quotes that, you know, the players need to be doing better. We're the problem. You don't understand the Man United fan base, Brian. I do. They love a scapegoat. They enjoy it. They feast on it. It's that dopamine rush. It's that gang mentality. It's the burning the witch at the stake. It's that mob thing. So, as truthful as he could be, I think he'd just be careful to invite scrutiny on the players, even though they might deserve it. I don't know. You guys might disagree with my assessment of this, and I hope you do. I kind of hope you disagree, because I want different perspectives. Let's see what the chat is saying about Brian coming out, if you guys even, you know, care about it. Maybe playing Mbeumo and Cunha on the wing and Bruno as a 10 in a 4-2-3-1 formation, says Wendell. Yeah, TK, big up everyone passing through, says Turkish. Big up Turkish. TK says, this also sends a message of players being untouchable, like Shaw, Maguire and Mount. Casemiro, says TK. Wendell agrees. TK says Mbeumo is correct. Palace play 3 at the back and have success, says TK. Wendell says we don't have the players to play the system. Dorgu is not a starter. Dalot is just poo, and so is Ugarte and Shaw. Casemiro is past his best. Change the system until we have proper players, says Wendell. I mean, you have to think about the manager who came in and said system above everything else. You got to think about the fact that he didn't care about what players he had. He didn't care about if the players fit his system or not. He said, I'm coming in to play this system, and if you don't fit it, then tough. And you just have to think about what kind of manager is that? You know? TK says Glasner has also never spent more than 2 years at one club, says TK. Wendell says, I think Glasner or Xavi will be good appointments, but we must recruit better players and get rid of the Night King and the dead, says Wendell. Onana is no keeper. Our front three will suffer because we cannot control the midfield in matches. Get better players, says Wendell. Simple as that. Glasner will bring Wharton to wherever he goes. Maybe Gahey too, says TK. Big up Ivan in the chat. We could have a whole new 11 tomorrow and lose, and people will still say it's the players. This manager is out of his depth. Starts Dalot, Shaw, Maguire, and puts Bruno at DM, says Ivan. A good mixture of opinions there and views, which is what I like. As usual, I think the answer is between the two. I don't think the players are good enough. Some of them are not good enough, and we know this. I don't think the system, the question you have to ask yourself is, in this system, name me one player that looks good. One. Just one player that looks good, that he's improved, that looks better. And I think that will answer your question. It's a mixture of both, as usual. The system doesn't suit our players, but yet our players also are not good enough. And yet the manager could get much better out of the players he has. We still haven't seen Xerxes. And we really haven't seen Kobe. And we know both these players can ball. We've seen Kobe. We've seen Ahmad. We've seen Brian Mbeumo last season. We've seen his stats. We've seen Cunha last season. Nobody's playing well. The system, nobody. Not one single human being on the grass. Not one. So, Euro. There you go. Lenny Euro. But the manager doesn't play him. Or he hasn't played him in the last 2 games. So, it's a mixture of both. And it's about what degree are you giving? What weighting? Are you saying it's 20% the manager, 15% the players, 45% INEOS? Like, it's about that. How are you attributing the fault, the reason to whatever variable, to whatever group, you know? Big up Ivan, man. Big up Ivan in the chat. People, Amram is a master of making it look like the opposition has 22 plays. One of the questions I always ask people, how much do you buy into what the manager is saying? Because the manager could come in and he could convince you that good players are crap. He can easily convince you that really good players that you have are not good enough anymore. And then the minute those players leave the club or leave the team, they start playing well. I think we sometimes forget that managers, self-preservation is something that we all have. We all need to preserve. The manager will throw a player under the bus if he has to keep his job. We see managers do it all the time. But once again, I do agree the players have to take responsibility. It can't just be on the manager. You can't. So, nuance, guys. Nuance is needed. We have some Ruben Amorim quotes. Let's move on to what Ruben Amorim is saying about his season's goals. He's gone on to say in an interview that, I think we need to return to Europe. But the funny thing is that it's hard for our fans to understand that. I don't know what's going to happen. We are going to play better. That is my feeling. And I think every data suggests this. If you see the games, you can feel that we can win the games. Guys, I don't like this. Even if he's telling the truth, and I know a lot of people praise him for being real. A lot of people praise him for being real. And I understand this. But I think we need to return to Europe. But it's hard for our fans to understand that. I don't know what's going to happen. But we are going to play better. That is my feeling. And I think in this sentence, guys, it doesn't fill me with any confidence, because this sentence is full of feelings, full of what he thinks. He doesn't know what's going to happen. There's no certainty. And you can argue maybe they shouldn't be. It's football. There can't be any certainty in football. But nothing he's saying here makes me have confidence in him, because he doesn't seem to have confidence in the team. He manages the football team, and he's saying that he never knows, he doesn't know what's going to happen. I think I heard him say something like, I never know what Man United are going to turn out. And I'm like, as honest as that is, I don't know if it's something you'd be saying out loud, because you are the manager and you are responsible for preparing the team every single week to go out there to battle. You lead the team out to battle. while at the same time saying you don't know what team's going to turn up. You don't know about your team. You don't know what they're going to do at any given match. As true as that might be, it doesn't reflect good on you, because you are responsible for getting the team ready. We have a 1 week between games. There's no other games now apart from the FA Cup, which will start in January or whatever it starts. 1 game a week. In fact, less than 1 game a week, because we have international breaks. So we're technically playing less than 1 game a week. And if you see the game, you can feel that we can win. I don't care, but if you see the game, listen, this might be a translation issue. And we also need to understand, guys, as a community, that English is not his first language, but there's so much I feel and this I think, and it's just vagueness and grey. And like I said, I promote I promote grey areas. I promote nuance on this channel. But this level of nuance, no, we don't need this from our manager. So I'm not feeling I'm going to do what he does. I'm not feeling too positive reading this. I have to be honest. But you guys, as usual, might have a different take on it. And if you do, please let me know, because I need to be convinced otherwise, guys. Let's see what you guys are saying. Wendell, if we had Mendes and Frimpong at wing back with a Baleba and Wharton in midfield and a Martinez in goal, we would compete with the best. But unfortunately, we have weak mentality players. To be honest, I think Ruben has alluded to that. I think when he spoke about crazy players, maybe that's what he was talking about. But for me, when I think about weak mentality players, Wendell, I'm thinking about the Maguires and the Shaws. I'm thinking about the players that he picks, that we've been seeing for the last 3 or 4 years, 5, 6 years maybe, are not good enough. But he continues to pick when Lenny Euro and others are there. So it's like, don't ever forget that he does not need to pick Mason Mount. He doesn't need to pick some of the players he picks. There are other players he could pick. Maybe those other players are not good enough. But he could select Heaven if he wanted to. He could. He could select Xerxes in the left 10 over Mason Mount if he wanted to. He could. But I do think that we do need stronger players in terms of their mentality. The question I ask you guys is, why do we need strong mentality players but weak mentality managers like Amram? Amram's mentality is weak. He cowers when we take penalties. He doesn't lead by example. He comes out and says, 1 minute I hate my players, 1 minute I love my players. 1 minute he wants to get fired, he wants to leave, next minute he wants to stay. His mentality is very, very weak. But yet he wants... listen, the reason why we are how we are sometimes is because we are a reflection of our manager's temperament, I think. TK says, Ruby did inherit a really bad team. He has to use players we're trying to upgrade for the last 3 years, yet they are in the starting 11. Can't make no omelette if all you have are old pickles. That is true, TK. Both TK and Wendell are making points. My only, I guess, point back to Wendell and TK is that we do have players. He doesn't need to choose Shaw and Maguire. He doesn't actually have to choose them. Or Mason Mount. He doesn't have to, but he's selecting them over other players that are actually better than them. That's my only thing I'm gonna respond back to that. But you're right. You guys are right in general. Ivan says, I myself am sick of the sacking cycle, but we can't stop the cycle on Ronald McDonald just because we are sick of sackings, says Ivan. Yes. The ideology cannot overcome the facts. So if your ideology is, I don't believe in sacking managers, are you then going to keep the really bad manager just because your ideology is that? Your ideology, your system, the manager system cannot be above all, and your ideology cannot be above all, because there will be certain things that doesn't fit that ideology, i.e. you might hire the worst manager to ever live. Are you then going to keep him for 2 or 3 years just because your ideology is not to sack players? So I get what Ivan is saying as well. Wendell says, since 2014, players still at United, it's sad. Wendell, I did say that Amram at Sporting could sell all 11 players and get 11 new players maybe in one summer. He could do that. At United, you can't do that. In the Premier League, you can't do that unless you're doing something dodgy like Chelsea. So he also knew, Amram, that he wasn't going to get... I mean, he got 5 new players in the summer. 3 of them walked into the first team. I think that's quite decent. The 2 best attackers in the Premier League, or 2 of the best attackers in the Premier League, plus the best young striker in the world, apparently. But listen, these discussions are always going to be nuanced. No more data. Change your approach, says Wendell. Agree, Ivan. The merry-go-round of managers is now a norm and expectation at United. Laughing stock of league in that regards. I hear you, TK. I hear you. Obi Amori is also saying that Amori is also saying that it's us fans who don't understand how hard it will be to get back into Europe. Like we don't know we are a mid-table team. Yeah. He said that it's hard for our fans to understand that. I've always said, guys, and I put myself in that, it's good to look at yourself. It's good to hold the mirror. And I'm not afraid to hold the mirror and say that I'm also responsible. We as fans are responsible as well for the issues at the club. We have a part to play in its demise. Whether it's us supporting the wrong managers, whether it's us trying to bully players out of the team that, were really good. Many different reasons. But the fans, we also have a part to play. We do. Ivan says this weekend will show if the players are still on Amarim's side. Let's see if he still has the dressing room in control. Yep, I agree. Wendell says he agrees, but Amarim needs to give Xerxes and Mainu a chance. All right, guys, let's move on to Laurie Whitwell. Listen, guys, I'm pretty sure by now you've heard the rumours of Man United playing midweek games for money. That is something that I think I've reported on this channel before. But now it seems, people, that we could be going to Saudi Arabia for mid-season friendlies. Midweek friendlies. So the tweet is from Laurie Whitwell, who is supposed to be a reputable journalist, respected journalist, and no, the key phrase is meant to be. But this is in the New York Times. It says there's no guarantee, but this could raise major funds during 3 midweeks. The potential blueprint already is that PSG has faced SBL XI featuring Cristiano Ronaldo in the Riyadh. So yeah, basically PSG has already done this and played a friendly against a Saudi Pro League side. So very, very quickly, guys, this is not confirmed, even though Laurie Whitwell is reporting on this. But this could be a thing. My God. Let me know what you think, guys. If you are told that Manchester United on a Wednesday are going to Saudi to play a midweek friendly to get £4 million, are you saying, because I don't know whether the chat morally or ethically have any considerations when it comes to football. I do. I don't think sport is above humanity. I think sport is just something that we do to pass the time, to entertain ourselves. It's a major distraction. There's much more important things than football. And what Saudi Arabia do, what their government do, listen, some countries in the so-called West, yeah, that act like the good guys, behind the scenes, they're doing the madness too. But I don't know what the channel, I don't know what my community really feels about us going to Saudi. Listen, that's where the money is. Everything's going to Saudi, guys. I think they've had the World Cup now in that region, not Saudi, but in that region, right? Wrestling, like if you guys watch wrestling and WrestleManias and all these guys, are going there. They're hiring all the musicians and stuff to go there and perform. Sport washing. They bought EA Sports. So EA Sports, no, the people who created FIFA, it's now Saudi owned. So can we, I mean, even if you have a moral, ethical consideration here, dilemma here, contradiction, whatever you want to call it, capital is capital. This world that we live in is all about money, and we're always going to go where the money is, who holds the money. Whoever holds the money in this land, in this world that we live in, has the power. So like I said, guys, I don't know whether you guys care. Some of you, I reckon, won't care. Get the money. Just get the money. Some of you will be like, human rights and all these things, which is fair. But either way, the point I'm trying to make is there's no right or wrong answer to this. There isn't one. And I'm not going to knock nobody or doing this. That's not me. Right? But it's interesting and it's fascinating. This could not happen. This might not happen. But it's been put out there. Maybe Laurie Whitwell's putting it out there just to see what the response is. And based on the response, Man United will be like, cool. They don't care about this. Maybe this is a soft launch of it. But then the question is, if you don't care about this, why were so many people against Qatar buying the football club? While at the same time saying, yeah, let's go to Saudi and get money. How contradictory are those two stances? I don't know, guys. You know how I think. So we'll see. Let's see what the chat thinks, if anything. The biggest problem is that the coach keep on fielding the same players. He's basically sacking himself. We will never go on a winning streak with Shaw, Dalot, Casemiro, and Pennywise in goal. Yep, I think I read that. Yeah. We want Prem-proven players, but are setting for non-Prem managers. Yep, I've said that, TK. I feel like we need to go to Prem-proven managers now. OGS, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Ruud, Erik ten Hag, Ruby, all have never managed in the Prem prior to United. At least Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Ruud understand the league. Ivan agrees. Premier League experience is what Ivan wants. Turkish says, my theory is they will develop partnerships and have a pipeline to send players there. I'm assuming you mean Saudi, Turkish. Wendell says, playing in Saudi will help generate money for transfers. Ivan says, we are like the poor guy dressed in a clown suit going to birthday parties for for some coins. Right, Ivan's coming. Ivan's on fire today still, ain't gonna lie. TK says, playing in Saudi might help Saudis buy some of our old pickles. All right. Fair enough. So yeah, like I said, if anything concrete breaks surrounding that, I'll let you guys know. But that could be in a pipeline. It could be a red herring. Who knows? We'll see. But Paul Scholes has come out. Here's a quote from Paul Scholes on Ruben Amorim, people, in case you're interested. I'm giving you all the little talking points that's been going on over the last few days, people. And Paul Scholes has said, he's come out and he said that he looks lonely on the sideline. You even look at the big managers. They've got a bit of presence next to them. What's Amorim got next to him? When I read that, I'm like, hold on a second. They've got a bit of presence next to them. What do you mean? As in his backroom staff next to him standing? What do you mean? Because you know when you can project things, like the reason why Pep might have a presence about him is because Pep's won stuff. You're projecting. This guy is, to me, looks like this tall bald guy. I ain't got no presence. Like Klopp don't have no presence, bro. They're just men. I don't believe in no presence business. But it's interesting what he's chosen to, in this instance, comment on or criticize. What do you think he's talking about here? What do you think he means here? I don't know, guys. I thought it was interesting that he's come out and he said this. What's Amorim got next to him? What, or do you mean who Amorim has? I don't know, guys. But we can move on. we can move on from this quote. But Paul Scholes, guys, if I can give my opinion very quickly, I don't always think Paul Scholes has the best. It's very interesting because Paul Scholes was a very intelligent. Paul Scholes, yeah, is the perfect example of why I say good footballers don't always make good managers, because managing is about teaching, it's about translating what you see on a football pitch into words coherently and getting your players to do what you want them to do. So it's about teaching, it's about man management, it's about convincing people, it's about filling your players with confidence. The psychology of being a coach and being a manager is very important. You can't be cold. You have to be warm. You got to know how to handle people. You have to be able to translate your message and articulate yourself in a way that they understand. You have to be a teacher. You have to know. And the thing is, some of the best footballers, yeah, don't even understand how they play. What I mean by that is you can get a footballer who's really, really good, yeah, but if you ask them to explain what they do, they wouldn't be able to explain because it's so instinctive. It's like, it's so automatic. They're just good. They're like, listen, I'm a good footballer. I get the ball and I pass the ball. Like, and they're not able to explain to you how they do it. I think Paul Scholes, the reason why he didn't speak that much when he was a Man United player, I think we found out why. We found out why. So that's just my small little input, my small opinion on Scholes. To be fair, let's see what the chat is saying before we move on to this Fabregas situation. Osman says midweek friendlies during competitive season is a bit wild, you know. This is halfway to the European Super League BS they tried to spring on us. Playing meaningless games for oligarchs' sideshows. It's where we're going, Oz, man. I'm with Oz. I can see we're going this way, man. Listen, Oz, this European Super League thing is going to come back. 100%. I mean, the fact that the Champions League, yeah, had to change their format to a league format because they saw the threat of the Super League. That's the reason why this is now a league format, the Champions League. It's the only reason. Nobody told them to change the format of the Champions League to how it is now. Nobody wanted it. So this is to quell the Super League. And listen, at the end of the day, if all the money is in America or in the Middle East, right, then most of the owners of the football clubs will be American or from the Middle East, right? That's just, if you understand money, if you understand capital, you understand in about 5 years' time, every single football club in this league will be owned by either Americans or people in the Middle East. Maybe some Europeans here or there, like a gym or something, but that's it. That's just common. That's just normal. You should just be able to understand that. That's capitalism. Capitalism is a system where one or few individuals will end up owning everything. That's it. So that's where football is heading. So we all need to just get that and understand that's where we will end up. Unless something really, really drastic happens to this worldly economic system, which I very much doubt it. Ivan said we could do midweek friendlies with random teams because we ain't making Europe anytime soon. Osman said clubs should be siding with players in resisting the ridiculous schedules already with UEFA and FIFA, saddling everyone with bigger and longer tournaments and entirely new tournaments, all for cash. Big up Osman. Big up Osman. Osman reads my mind. I agree. Players are getting injured left, right, and centre. Games after games, just for sponsorships, just for UEFA and FIFA to get more money. The players are an afterthought now. The players are an afterthought. And if you talk to the fans will say something like they get paid enough. I'm like, bro, I don't care how much I get paid. If my legs break, if my legs broke, my leg's broken. I'd rather have my leg back. Like, it's crazy. But Osman says not putting even more new games on the schedule to make more profit and sports wash, says Osman. Eddie says Cesc Fabregas as United manager is too premature. Big up Eddie in the chat. TK says United will be best to face championship and second tier teams in the UK versus flying to Saudi. Competition would be on par domestically. Listen, you're right, TK. We could fly to Saudi and get slapped up. How does that help? How does that help us? But then we played Grimsby and we lost. So come see, come sir. Eddie says Super League is going to try come back. Yeah. As long as we are owned, you need to understand who our owners are and who Americans are. They don't care about football. Do you think all the American owners of all these teams, Liverpool and all these guys, care about soccer? It's about money, bro. Like, at the end of the day, what you need to understand is all of these TV rights and all the money that's going elsewhere. Why you can just come out of the league, tell the FA bye FA, tell UEFA goodbye, start your own league and get billions. Control your own advertising. Advertising revenue doesn't need to go to the whole league. I mean, all those first division and second division. You can decide how the money is distributed. Fully in control. You can MUTV will put the matches on rather than Sky Sports, which means Man United will be getting so much more money. As long as the concept is still there, and as long as it's not illegal to do it, it will happen. It will happen, guys. I want us, and there's not many things. There's a few things I'm certain about, but one thing I'm certain about is money. One thing I'm certain about is money. People love money, and if money can be made somewhere, it will be made. And this Super League thing is just sitting there waiting for the Arab owners and the American owners who now own and control the league now. When it comes to voting in the Premier League, understand who's voting. When we are voting our teams, it's our owners who are voting. And our owners are American and from the Middle East. Most of us. Newcastle, Man City, Middle Eastern owners. So I think we just need to understand that and fully understand what that means. Because it makes us a more smarter and intelligent fan base. Ivan says, guys, honestly, I think they already have the Super League. They changed the format of a Champions League and teams getting 100 million just for participating. They turned the Champions League into Super League without us noticing. Yeah, Ivan, I've already said that. I've already said that they did that because of the threat of the Super League. They changed the format into the Super League format. That is why, because they understood the threat. And this Club World Cup thing is also another thing they've done to quell that threat. If you win the Club World Cup, you get 100 million. So FIFA, UEFA, they understand this threat and they've done things to try to quell that threat. I don't know if it will work. Maybe it is. Maybe you guys, this Club World Cup thing that happened at the start, we were hearing so much negative things about it. But by the end of the tournament, I think a lot of people were watching. By the end, people were paying attention. So maybe it's worked. Maybe in the next 4 years, this Club World Cup thing will be on par with the World Cup. I'm not saying it will. I'm not saying maybe it will. Who knows, guys? Who knows? Let's move on anyway. Breaking news, as you guys can see on your screen, is that Manchester United, apparently according to 442, are considering Cesc Fabregas as a replacement for Amorim and have added him to the shortlist. Some of you guys have already weighed in on this and you're saying, no, too soon. I don't know if I believe this. I don't know if INEOS, when creating their shortlist, are seriously considering Cesc Fabregas. I do not know. I don't actually believe it, but 442 are reporting on it. Let me know what you guys think about that. I understand Areola. I understand Glasner. I even understand Southgate. And I even understand Xavi. But I'm not sure where Sesk, why Sesk, how Sesk, when Sesk, what Sesk. If you know what I mean. If you know what I mean. So we can move on to other topical stuff. JJ. Listen, sometimes we can talk about the youngsters because sometimes the youngsters, the future is the only thing that really gives us hope, because the present right now with the players that we have, our current situation with the manager and INEOS is just negativity. It's depressing. So every now and again, I do like to think about the future, where we could be, who we are recruiting, who could be next up. And you guys in the chat, Man United fans, I guess, around the world are talking about JJ Gabriel a lot. So let's talk about this. Let's read this. Gabriel, who is playing against and dominating players 4 years older than him. We have to first of all acknowledge that this guy is 14. And where's he playing? Under 18s, right? So he's playing against players 4 years older than he is. And he is not making them, he's making them look dumb. He is balling out in the under 18s. It's insane. Listen, we haven't spoken or haven't heard this much about a player in the academy since Mason Greenwood. Since Mason Greenwood. And when Mason came out, I said to everybody that I believe Mason Greenwood has a talent to win the Ballon d'Or. And I still think he does. JJ Gabriel is making people's heads turn. So let's read on. Is one of the most sought after academy footballers in Europe. Gabriel is expected to join first team training at some stage this season, and after Amorim spent parts of pre-season watching footage of him during internal flights on the US tour. It looks like Amorim is impressed, and Amorim, and I think we said this already, is going to invite him to train with the senior squad. Director of football Jason Wilcox is a huge admirer of JJ Gabriel, as was his predecessor Dan Ashworth. Cool. His dad, former Republic of Ireland international Joey O'Cyril, I don't know which kind of cereal do you eat. Anyway, changed the family's surname to Gabriel in a nod to their religious beliefs, as well as making the United starlet more marketable. I feel like it's interesting that from a very, very young age, you've changed. So, hold a second. You changed your whole family's surname just so your son can be more marketable. That's when you know you've produced a footballer, and he's going to be a footballer and nothing else. And I'm changing the family's name because I know he's going to be a footballer and I need him to be marketable. Listen, guys, if you have a son, make sure you make money out of this guy. If you have a little son, you take him to training. That is your investment. That's your future. That's your pension. Your son is your pension. Oh, man. But he goes on to say this. Yeah, it also helps with Nike's long-term plan to make him the face of their mercurial brand. So it looks like Nike already, and if you're 14 years old, you're a baby, and you're already, Nike. I mean, to be honest, Nike do look at young stars. They do. That it is quite normal, to be fair. But 14, man, 14, and let's. I think we need to be careful. Let's not throw everything at this kid. And when he reaches 17, he becomes the next Garnacho. So we don't want another Garnacho. We want humble, right? We do want humble. But here's some stats, Let me read out some stats this season. So far, this season, he's played 6 games and he scored 7 goals. He's the joint top goal scorer. He's 14 years old. He's a kid. He's 14 years old playing for the under 18s, and he's a joint top goal scorer in the under 18s league in this country. So we let's not brush over how impressive these stats are, how impressive this kid is. And I feel like all the negativity around the football club, something like JJ Gabriel, somebody like that, gives you some, hope. Gives you some hope. I hope it gives you guys some hope that this club won't die. It can't die. 26 shots he's had. And 18, this guy, 18 on target. So that is JJ. Let me see what you guys are saying in the chat. Super League is going to try come back like them BS UK digital ID. Listen, I see everyone getting excited about the digital ID. Only thing I will say about the digital ID thing is that almost every other country in Europe has them. We're actually one of the last countries to adopt the digital ID thing. But nobody wants facts. People just want scaremongering. TK says, I meant harder to play lower leagues versus Saudis. Oh, no, damn right. Damn right it's harder to, like I said, look at flipping Northampton Town. Where's our Northampton Town fan? I reckon Northampton Town will probably slap us up as well. Ivan says, guys, honestly, I think they already have the Super League. Yep, I read that already. Casemiro, 34 years older, will feature in our starting 11 at some point in the future. With JJ. That's funny. Ivan says, JJ Gabriel is better than Gabriel Martinelli, Gabriel Magalhaes, and Gabriel Jesus. Do you know what, Ivan? While I can't say he's better than those players now, I'm going to say that this kid, if he continues to improve, if he goes on the trajectory of a typical footballer, he should be better than all of them. He should be much better than all of the Gabriels that you have mentioned. But Adnan Januzaj and all of these guys, we've seen this. We've seen this. So I'm just gonna, expectations not as high. Eddie says this JJ Gabriel is too premature as well. Amrin would never dream of playing him. He don't even know what to do with Kobe. That is a very good point from Eddie. Very good point. He doesn't even know what to do with the young talent like Kobe. Or do you trust Amrin with JJ Gabriel? Do you guys trust him with him? Who has he developed so far? I don't know, guys. I don't know sometimes. Let's move on. Some more. We're heading towards the game on Saturday. It will be a 3 p.m. kickoff. So whatever you guys need to do, whatever feed you guys need to try to get in order to watch the 3 p.m. kickoff, make sure you pattern that up very, very quickly. We will be doing a watch along for the game on Saturday. We're 2 days away, so we need to start hearing what's happening with the squad. We need to start hearing who's fit, who's not fit, who's ready, who's not ready, so on and so forth. And Amad Diallo is back, guys. Amad Diallo is back. Tyrone Malacia also has returned to first team training. We spoke about it on Tuesday that Malacia is being integrated back into the squad. I think it's necessary. Mazraoui is injured again, and this might be a problem because it's 2 injuries now in a very short space of time, and the only wing backs we have that can play first team football right now is Amad Diallo, Diogo Dalot, and Dorgu, because Mazraoui is injured. So Malacia being part of the squad, being the 4th wing back that we kind of need. I don't know what you guys are thinking about that, but I'm glad Amad is back. Listen, Amad is up there with the likes of Cunha and Mbeumo in terms of our most important players. I know some people in the chat, Shivam, for instance, don't agree, but I cannot yet overlook the 2 years that Amad has given us prior to the start of the season. I can't do the whole, he played well last year for Amrim, Him and Lenny Euro were the two bright sparks for Amrim last year when he took over. The goals he scored against Man City and, the hat-trick he scored. And then the season before that for Ten Hag, how he saved us. I can't say the first 4 games of the season he hasn't done well and then totally say we need to sell him and forget about the 2 years that have gone prior, especially given the fact that he's only 23. So Ahmad, and I've always say this, I will stick up for Ahmad because I like talent. Ahmad is one of my favorite ballers at the football club. He is. I just need him to try to find some form now. No one is playing well. So when people are having a go at Ahmad, I can't listen. It's good to criticize players, and I have criticized Ahmad. I've said he hasn't been consistent and he does need to pass a bit more. But I know his talent. He can come good again. So I feel like we need to be patient with Ahmad. Give him, time to make mistakes. Give him time to feel the new players, get used to the new players and all these things. But they're back in training, guys. They're back in training, which means, hopefully it means Ahmad will start against Sunderland. There's no reason, guys, and we'll do the match preview tomorrow. Tomorrow's show will be a match preview show. But there's no reason that Ahmad shouldn't start. There's no reason for Dallo to now start now that Ahmad is back. I saw somebody, might not have been yesterday, but I'm pretty sure I saw someone in the chat saying they'd rather start Dallo than Ahmad. And I was like, no. No. No, there's no planet, yeah. And even the new planets we discover, there's no planet, yeah, that I will start Dallo over Ahmad. There's no planet. So it is what it is, guys. It is what it is. Let's move on, people. Let's move on. There we go. Some positive news. We signed a new player. We've spoken about this player before, but apparently Fabrizio is saying today is the here we go. It's been sealed, signed, delivered. Was it signed, sealed, delivered? Signed, sealed, delivered. I'm yours. Here I am, baby. TK says, are United going to score more than 1 goal on Saturday? No, they won't. I have to predict a 2-1 loss, mates. TK. Do you know what? I'm going to go with TK. I'm sorry, but I have been appointed to deliver this news. Bro, listen. Oh, man. We'll do more of the predictions tomorrow. And we'll look at the Fantasy Premier League tomorrow as well. And we'll look at our season predictions tomorrow. Because we did, at the start of the season, we did our season predictions. I'm not going to lie, guys. Yeah, we need to. I keep saying we need to revisit it, but we need to revisit it. But here you go, guys. We have the here we go for Christian Orozco. Orozco, he is coming. We know he is coming. We heard this news before, so this is not new news, but we have the official here we go. Manchester United have now sealed and signed the deal to bring in 17-year-old Colombian talent Christian Orozco. $1 million. Transfer fee from Fortaleza in deal valid from summer 2026. So he will join us in the summer of next year. United lawyers have approved all the contracts and the deal coordinated by lead scout Antonaccio. Okay. Butchered the name. Yeah. Isn't it that thing that you dip in chocolate? Chorizo or something. Chorizo. Wait, chorizo's a sausage, but where's that? There's a little pastry thing that you also dip in chocolate with sugar on it. Is it churros? Is it churros? I don't know. Either way, all right. I'm not gonna pretend I've seen a lot of this player because I haven't. But from what I have seen, he looks good. I mean, you're captaining the under-17 Colombian side, right? Yeah, true. Right. And I think TK, we've said many times, guys, that let's get our own Baleba. Why are we spending £100 million on all these guys? We've got Sesko Kones, who's still a kid. He can still grow. Let's go and get our next Baleba. Let's get our own Baleba. So I'm happy. Listen, I don't know how good this guy's going to be, how we're going to develop him. I don't know how well we develop players anymore in our academy. I don't know our academy coaches. I don't know. But the fact that we're going to these markets now, we're going to the South American market, we're going to the African market. Listen, at least 50% of the Premier League now is foreign born. At least. Black foreign born. Right? The Premier League, in the next 10 years, it will be even more. It will be at least 60%. That's the way it is going. We value in this league physicality more than anything. Right? Get your black player in the center of your team. Get your Caicedo, get your Kante, yeah. Get one of those players. Get your Christian Orozco. Get your pace and power guy. Go to different markets. Go to the African market. Go to the South American market. Get these gems. Nurture them. Coach them. Boom, bam, thank you, ma'am. Anyway, let's go move on. Speaking on Baleba, speaking on, having that pace and power, having that strength, having that speed in your midfield, in your team, which you can obtain by going to certain markets and getting gems. Brighton did that and they've got Baleba. And speaking of Baleba, news in, and this is not really news, but I'll report on it anyway. Man United aim to sign Carlos Baleba regardless of Ruben Amorim's status. Baleba is viewed as the ideal midfielder for the club's future, with the board confident in his quality. So, just for you guys, just so you know, I mean, I don't think it's really that important. I don't think you guys don't know this. Baleba will probably be coming in. We'll probably be looking to sign Baleba regardless of whether Amorim is at the club or not. Which is cool. Which is what we need to do. We will survive and continue as a club when Amorim goes. And just because Amorim is not here, it doesn't mean we shouldn't sign Baleba. So nothing really to see here, to be fair. So we can move on. TK says, you are right, Wiz. United need to fill the funnel with these uncut gems. One or two of them surely will work out. Yeah. That's the thing, TK. We know numbers, yeah. Odds and numbers. We know in the youth team, what percentage of the youth break in? I mean, we can't keep using the class of 92. That's an anomaly. When something happens once, yeah, out of 30 years, that's not the rule. And we need to stop using that as a rule. That's what we do a lot. We see one thing happen in 30 years, 5 or 6 players come out at the same time. That's the anomaly if it's only happened once in 30 years. It's not the rule. The rule is it hardly happens. The Fergie thing is an anomaly. It shouldn't be the rule. And as fans, we take the one thing that happens and we apply it across board like it's the rule. No. So most young players will not make it. 99% of young players will not play for Man United. Even that Chorizo guy, he might not play for us. We might sign him and then sell him again for 5 million. Either way, we need to get into the habit of not every young player needs to play for us. Some players can just get sold. It's fine. It's okay. And we need to just get into the whole churning thing. We need to start churning these players again. Finding the uncut gems, like TK says, from certain markets that Brighton are looking at. Why is it only Brighton looking in certain markets? Why can't we? So anyway, something else was on the screen, but we'll move on. I mean, the reason why that's on the screen, guys, those are all our ex-players receiving Man of the Match awards in the Champions League. And it's sending a lot of United fans into a frenzy. It's making a lot of United fans sit back, take a step back with how they assess these players. A lot of United fans are rewriting history, saying these players were all amazing. Doing a lot of mental gymnastics, asking what is a problem with the club if these players can go on and perform outside the club? Are we the problem? So it's opened a lot of debates, a lot of conversation. And all I will say is that playing for Manchester United, as we know, is a different animal. Playing in a Premier League is also a different animal. And some players were sold because they didn't fit into systems. And I always tell you guys this. Don't hate a player just because he doesn't fit into what the manager wants to do. It doesn't make him a bad player. Like Elanga. Elanga didn't really fit in with what we were doing at the time and we sold him. He's gone somewhere else and he's flourishing. It doesn't necessarily mean that we shouldn't have sold him. This is where critical thinking comes in. I said that when Hojlund is sold and when Hojlund goes to Napoli, he will be fine. He will score goals. He is going to the best football club in Italy that is stable, that has all the best players. He's in a much better team. He's got Kevin De Bruyne behind him. This Napoli team is much better than Man United. So of course he's going to score goals. The question you need to ask yourself is this. Has Hojlund over the last 2 weeks improved? No, he hasn't improved. He's still the same Hojlund. It's just the things around him are different. Has Rashford improved just by going? No, he hasn't improved. He's just playing in a different environment with different players. And I always remind people, listen, learn. We all have to learn to identify and assess talent away from the environment that they're in. You have to be able to take a player out of the environment and assess their abilities independently. Yeah, you got to be like, cool, this player's playing in a rubbish team, but what are these players? What is this player's attributes in isolation? Because what I think we do, we get mixed up with the player's actual ability and the system that they're playing in, and we mash it together and we say the player's not good. No. The player is good fundamentally, but he's playing in a rubbish system, in a rubbish team. We need to separate the two, I think, as a fan base, as fans, and assess a player's ability, a player's attributes independently away from the system, the other players, the managers, so on and so forth. Rashford, as much as he didn't fit into one of the 10 positions, he was always the type of winger that could isolate his man. And playing in a Barcelona team with those players, he was always going to do well, guys. So none of this surprises me. So I'm not going to be the fan that rewrites things and be like, oh, let's get them back. Let's take them back. Listen, we are also the problem. I understand. We are also the problem. And if this image or if this reality forces the fans to say, do you know what? We are also the problem, then good. Because the issue is multifaceted. It's we are the problem and they are the problem. It's not just one thing. So big up everyone anyway. Let's move on to something else. Just pictures of training because we are getting closer to Saturday's game against Sunderland and nobody looks happy in these photos. Nobody looks, look at everybody. I did say, guys, this feel good factor, pre-season, everyone's smiling, everyone's happy. I did say all it takes is a few losses and it's going to implode. Playing one game a season and Xerxes just not getting on the pitch. Xerxes wants to go to the World Cup. Kobe Mainoo wants to go to the World Cup. You are losing while also not playing certain players who want to play for their international teams, and they know if they don't play games, they're not. World Cup's once every 4 years. Nobody wants to miss that. So this feel-good thing, I did say, will go very, very quickly. And look at these guys. I mean, to be honest, I don't look at the photos looking for people to be smiling. Like, smile for me. Smile for me. Why are you not smiling while you're training? That's a bit crazy. But it's just interesting that nobody is looking really happy in these photos. Nobody. TK says, I want to hear a South American announcer say, "Goal, Churro, Orozco." Bro, these South American announcers, bro, these South American announcers will say the word goal for like, they stretch it out for the whole 10 minutes. They'll be like, goal. Oh, the Arabic ones are the funniest. The Arabic ones are the funniest, man, I'm telling you. But yeah, we'll end on this picture. We'll end on the picture of legends. Adidas are clearly planning something. Whether it's is it a new advert? Maybe they're teasing us. But look at these legends of football, and look at Pogba, my guy Pogba. I love Pogba, man. What's funny when you go on Twitter now, people, you get a lot of people revising saying, "Damn, we treated Pogba crazily. We made a song for Ruben Amorim, yeah." We made up a song for him before he even played a game, before he's even won a game. And he's the worst manager we've ever had, and we still sing his song. Look how we treated Pogba. Why? Just because he danced and he had blue hair. And we said, oh, he's inconsistent. Bro, everybody's inconsistent. Is Bruno consistent? Is anybody consistent? We as a fan base, yeah. And especially as a black man, my fan base, this fan base is this. Sometimes I find it makes me want to throw up. It makes me want to throw up sometimes, the fan base. This is another reason why I start my own YouTube channel. I can't stand some of the fans, the way they treat certain players against the way they treat other players. Pogba carried this football club on his shoulders, yeah? And I don't care what anyone says in the chat. This is a fact. For almost 4 or 5 years. Our best player by a mile. He had to do, if he didn't defend, we cried. If he didn't attack, we cried. This guy had to do everything and more. Insane treatment of Paul Pogba. One of the best midfielders. Listen, yes, Yaya Toure is great and all these guys, but he's definitely up there with some of the best midfielders, or one of the best midfielders we've seen at this football club. In this league. Argue with your mama. Argue with your mama. Anyway, people, that is the show. That is the show for you. Big up yourselves. Thank you for being patient today with all the sound and all the rubbish that is going on. Just a quick recap. We started the show talking about Mbeumo, and he spoke a lot, essentially saying the players need to do better. Amorim spoke about his goals for this season. Laurie Whitwell and we also spoke about potentially going to Saudi games. Paul Scholes spoke on Amorim. Fabregas, manager shortlist. No, we poo-pooed Fabregas on the manager's shortlist. We spoke about JJ Gabriel, some positivity about him. Amad and Malacia back in training. We touched on that. We touched on the Orozco situation, the new signing, the 17-year-old. We spoke about that. And yeah, we ended on some training and training picks and some discussions. So Sunderland, guys. Sunderland in 2 days' time is... What are people thinking before we go? I know TK says we're going to lose. Love Pogba so much, says Turkish. I will take Prime Zidane over anyone in that pick. Let me see that pick again. Prime Zidane over... Oh, Zidane was crazy. Zidane was... Oh, Zidane. Let me see who else in that pick. Zidane... Kaka. Ooh, Cax. Ooh, Kaka though. Kaka though. No, Cafu. Is that Cafu? Isn't that Cafu on the right? Yeah. No, I might have to agree with TK. I might have to agree with TK. Zidane, yeah. Zidane was fake, bruv. But think about Zidane, yeah. He didn't... football's so interesting. Zidane didn't score that many goals, but when he did score, oh, bruv, his first touch is the way he played football. No, Zidane was a baller. I might have to agree with TK though. Yeah. But Paul Pogba was basically a bit of Zidane with a bit of power and strength. You know, he could do he could do similar things to Zidane, but he could carry the ball better than Zidane, I think. Paul Pogba. But Zidane's touches, yeah, and his technical ability was just insane. I don't know if he could carry the ball better than Zidane, actually. Now I've said it, I'm like, no, Zidane, no, he can't. No, he couldn't. No, he couldn't carry it better than Zidane. No, he can't. But yeah, no, Zidane was the guy. He was the guy. All right, guys, that's your show. Big up yourselves. It was a good show. Sorry for the sound. Sorry for the lateness, but we are getting there. We're getting better. We're improving as usual, guys. It's been a pleasure with you guys. Big up the chat. Big up everybody in the community. The TK, Turklish, Ivan, Eddie, Osman, Wendell. You know, the same usual faces. Some of the usuals are not here today, but not everyone can be part of the live show every day. You know, people have things to do in their life. Big up Luke as well, Northampton Town fan. We're gonna do our pre-match, our match preview tomorrow. Where we're gonna talk about Sunderland, talk about United, talk about the team. Also touch on Fantasy Premier League. Just get ready for the game on Saturday at 3 p.m. guys. So enjoy your Thursday evening. Look after yourselves as usual. Keep the community going. And yeah, I will see you guys next time. Big up yourselves. Remember, it's easier to love than it is to hate. Big up.